School travel planning is a multifaceted system. It's a program that requires multiple lenses to solve a multifaceted issue. And not one single body or person or party has all of those. So we need every single different type of party to come with their specialty, their lens, their superpower to be able to solve the issues that are at hand.
The SDP work is certainly part of what we do in a lot of ways. Our mandate is to ensure students get to school safely, and from that we transport a large portion, but it's only a third of the population. So we have to support the other 2/3 that do not receive transportation per se. So we need to help those families and students get to school safely.
Really, the school transportation planning helps to engage our stakeholders, our families, in meaningful conversations about how students get to and from school every day. It really focuses in on how we can create the uses of active modes of transportation, allowing students to bike or walk to school more effectively, reduces the amount of traffic on our school lots, and really overall helps to contribute to a safer environment in our schools. And furthermore, there are significant contributions to student wellness and staff wellness as we're looking at how exercise in the morning and at night, or at least active modes of transportation, contribute to students' readiness for the school day.
Something like the school travel plan really helps us work from a regional approach to support standards in terms of, how are we setting up those schools either physically or at least even operationally to ensure that they're all running as smoothly as possible. So with both school boards working together, for example, we can have common policies on how we're going to arrange pickup and drop off. And also, like in terms of municipalities, so we've got the 3 big municipalities and townships. Well, each of them is experiencing the same types of issues in terms of where there's a school, there's always going to be a bit of mayhem and traffic during those dull times. So having sort of one regional approach is also very helpful in terms of supporting that.
When you think about the journey that any child makes to school 5 days of the week, when they're traveling from their home to their classroom, it involves them navigating through the public realm, through our streets, and arriving at their school site. And so that involves both municipal responsibilities for having a safe community for those children to travel through, and as they reach their school site, having a safe and accessible school on arrival. And often we see that interface between the school site and public streets is like a real critical zone where we often have a lot of conflict and congestion. So it's really critical for municipalities and school boards to work together.
You need all the stakeholders to come together, and it's not about just the way to school, it's also the library is just here. Like, kids gain so much independence if they feel safe going through a city, and I feel that should be the message. It's not just about getting them safe to school with a crossing guard, it's making the infrastructure safe for them to actually use the city.
I'm an engineer, and my colleagues are engineers or planners. So we know to do many things, how to build streets, but we may not necessarily understand what the needs are of the children and the school boards. And that's where SDP comes in, because they better understand those needs and they can communicate those needs with us. And we can work together to understand those needs and how the region can modify their programs, and also, for example, how we build a street, how many traffic lanes we put, how wide the sidewalks are, where do we put cycling facilities. But all that needs those soft skills that SDP can provide.
We are specifically focusing on people-friendly transportation. I know one thing that we do well while working with school travel planning is figuring out how people travel on their way to and from school, whether it's by bicycle or whether they're walking or rolling. We're trying to enhance all of the features throughout the city to ensure that people get to school safely.
Well, I think the biggest help is just having somebody to have the conversation with experience in other schools, with other situations. Sometimes how it was solved somewhere else can influence you, something that you didn't think of. I always appreciate the Drive to 5 maps that are prepared that we can share with families, at least as a starting point for where they could maybe extend a walk. You know, when it's not convenient to walk all the way from home, but knowing that there's a place where they could park. Things like promoting cycle to school day or getting us nice new bike racks to keep those bikes secure at school, or the walk to school days and those kind of events, you know, I think promote what we want to have happen at school.
STP has really helped us work in more schools. They've been an advocate for us, and they've really gone to bat for us when discussing student travel planning with the schools that they work with. They've really said that this is an excellent program. Cycling education is important for kids, especially in that age where they may be starting to cycle to school on their own or with their friends. So it's really vital to their success when navigating their neighborhoods and their way to school independently.
Kids' understanding of road safety has not been anyone's responsibility, because parents may think that kids are getting educated in schools or vice versa. But since this formal education has not been established, the consequence is that no one is taking this education seriously and in a meaningful way. That's why our relationship with Student Transportation Services is vital for us and for our children, so that they can navigate to school in a successful way.